That's the fudge from the rodeo.
Maple, vanilla,
fudge. I would
with some kind of nut
fudge.
in there, but very mild.
I would fudge that.
See that? Burn from the oven because I tried to cook something.
Usually your burns are from your curling iron.
Not when they're up here on my head. You know.
There are so many people out there that think that I beat you with curling irons over the last 31 years because of how many curling iron burns you get.
I think people who really, really know us
would know that
you're the one getting beat
that
by
I'm
my...
I'm the one that
Why
I'm
are you
the
taking
one.
that over and putting it in front of you?
I'm not.
With all your crinkle crackle by the microphone. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
You can just stay on my side.
Okay, we'll keep it there. Too much sugary for me anyway, but it's delicious.
Hi.
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 So, something funny happened on the way to researching real estate things.
Let's just say it was surprising, and maybe it's more prevalent in the world than we realize because we're like,
well, that I know. It's just, and we'll get to what we're talking about shortly. I think it's extremely prevalent, of course, but I think that most people are savvy enough to keep it out of public view.
Maybe we should try to lay this story out a little bit for everyone.
All right.
This is insane. This is insane. That this happened to us is hilarious.
And you know what I think was also very funny?
What?
Your naivete that's what it was.
We got to take them through it. They'll understand more in a minute. So.
All right. So looking at
through it,
different real estate things, right? Because that's what couples do. And so someone sent us a walkthrough of a property, a furnished place that someone was living in. And I'm watching the video.
Well, I got the video first, right? And I watched the whole thing several times.
Yeah, you watched the whole thing and...
I was like, okay, so whatever. And I was like...
You were like just looking at...
I was commenting on the space and the size and the geography of the rooms and the light and how much light it was getting.
It literally passed you right by.
Yep.
But...
as I was showing it to you...
Spidey spy sense Jenna Elfman over here. I'm like...
on a video. This is on a phone.
I'm watching on my phone.
We're watching a video
walkthrough
of the realtor videoing this place.
Okay. Sorry, I'm chewing, guys. But it's just so good, I can't stop eating it. And I'm like, wait, what was that on the? Whoa. I slide back the video, and then I can, you can zoom in because it's your phone. So I zoom in, slide the video closer. It's in the bedroom. What is that on the bedside table? Wait a minute. Wait. Back up. Zoom. Pause, zoom.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Is that a dildo?
And I was
a dildo on the bedside table that was not put away for a realtor to come walk through the property.
And I was like, no, that's not a dildo. Now, mind you, I don't think I've ever seen a dildo in person.
I found one at my friend's house at their parents, and I was like, what?
So I had, other than like jokes on the internet, of jokes, I didn't really know what they looked like.
Right.
Okay.
It looks like a penis.
Yeah, but I figured that. But I didn't know what to look for. I figured the general shape of it was very much like a penis, as opposed to it looking like an
elephant or
like
something.
A lampshade. But when you were like, that's a fucking that's a dildo. That's a dildo on the bedside table. I was like, I
was actually surprised at how naive you were about it.
Now,
and how long you denied it. Like, you denied it for a long time. And then Coco was standing there, and I was like, Coco, that's a dildo, right?
Jenna's assistant was there, and she had to confirm with Coco that that's what it was. And I was like, I was like, I think it's like a script to control lighting. Like it was like a long white script for, and I obviously was delusional in what I was creating it to be.
And I think your last point of reference on a dildo was like 1971.
Yeah, not 71. That would have been 2. But yeah.
From what you've told me of the things you saw early in your life.
Yeah, maybe 1976. So the funny thing is that I had a crazy life filled with bizarre things, and you didn't.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to 2022, you spotted that dildo so fast. And I had no idea what it was.
Well, there's always that sort of curiosity when you see a photo, it's like if a property's not staged and it's actually people living there, you're curious.
Right.
It's like you're always sort of curious how
What
other
are their
people
li-
live
yeah,
their lives.
that's
it's
right.
like not like a freakish voyeur. It's just a curiosity. Like
Totally.
so, because we're always like going, do people have something or do something that I'm missing and I don't even know about?
Right.
When it comes to the dildo, I do not need that. I think the point is, why did someone leave their dildo out on the bedside table when there was a realtor coming over to do a video walkthrough?
Somehow it slipped. Well,
Now,
first of all,
and it's the people who live there. And I think they were renting. So there's the owner of the property, the realtor.
it was a pocket listing, right? Like, no, it wasn't on the market.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So the realtor wasn't used to showing it.
Yeah.
But are dildos so ubiquitous that they're just like on?
It's like having a cell phone charger laying out.
So I was like, I talked to the
And it was plugged in and charging, by the way, on the bedside table.
I suppose.
No, it was. It was plugged in.
Right, but which is why I thought it was a thing for to control the lamps and the lights, like a lighting strip.
I guess they have USBs now.
I guess so. Yeah, you and Coco were like, oh look, that's
It's
a fucking
smart dildo.
It's a fucking smart dildo.
Not the battery operated kind from the 70s.
Can you like warm it up with
Not the
app?
AAA.
No, not the
battery
old school
kind.
Can you like warm it up with your app? Like you get your dildo app, and
I bet.
and
I bet there's all kinds of
and it
things.
heats it up and gets it all ready.
Yeah,
for
like
you?
the Tesla.
Yeah. It alerts you.
It's the Tesla of dildos.
Will it do sounds and stuff like the Tesla? And can you program all kinds?
If it's
like,
a good enough dildo, it doesn't need
I'm
sound.
so far out of the loop on dildos. The last one I saw being 1978. What do they do now? What's the newest models do?
Is that something you actually want to open up?
No.
For comments?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't. As a matter of fact,
It's a rhetorical question.
it's a rhetorical question completely. Well, you were polishing off that?
Are you judging me?
No.
Do you want some?
No.
Then what's the commentary?
I'm impressed by your ability to handle something that sweet.
Oh.
I can't handle things that sweet.
Okay.
Clearly. I'm used to much more bitter,
Salty.
salty, and
Companions.
acerbic companions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what the modern dildo does. Like, what is
If you
it?
start seeing my eyes floating in the sockets, it's because the sugar's kicking.
Yeah,
I can feel
and
it.
by the way, as you're getting cranky with me,
I'm not getting cranky. You're just being ridiculous.
you...
I'm right, remember?
Right.
We talked about that.
We talked about that. So I guess we don't really need to open up what is the modern dildo all
No.
about. And I don't want to know. I just was surprised at how fast you spotted it and how clueless I was and how ubiquitous it was that the renter of this place who's leasing out or whatever, whoever's place it was, that's showing their place, leaves it on the fucking
I think
bedside
they didn't
table.
even notice. I think it's just like... I just think they didn't notice.
You think it's like gum, where it's just by the bedside table or something? That's a bad example, but something. I'm like what's
I don't know when I've ever had gum on my
the
bedside
worst
table.
example ever? I don't know what I was trying to think of something that would be on the bedside table that you'd leave the house knowing it was getting shown.
Lip balm?
Lip balm, great example.
Vaseline?
But that one, now
That you keep in the drawer.
Now, I went through a period where I had to put Vaseline on like a sunburn, and I always felt it was so sketchy, like in the bedroom with just
A big old container
of Vas. And it's just like, it's like every time the housekeeper would come and be like, it's for the wound. It's like, I burned myself and I have to protect it. But the things housekeepers see.
Oh. I think I may have said this. Did I say this in a podcast before? There was another couple at a party. We were like socializing. We were at a party and you strike up conversations. Okay, so we're talking to this couple. And there was another couple kind of half in, half out of the conversation. And this one girl goes, trying to make like party conversation or party entertainment talk. She's like, oh my God. I mean, you leave adults together long enough that the conversation inevitably goes towards sex. Always. Guaranteed. There's two things that are guaranteed. They'll go towards sex. The other guarantee is if you're in a restaurant and you ask the waiter, what's the soup of the day?
They'll say
97.9% they won't know, and they have to go check.
Yep.
Guarantee, try it, let me know. Anyway.
I don't know. Let me check on that.
I mean, for real.
I don't know. Let me check on that. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Like, you don't check in to find out what the soup of the day is?
Don't you know that in advance?
But I digress. And she goes, oh my God, isn't it just the worst and hilarious thing when you leave all your sex toys out on the dresser in the hotel? If this is like happens all like a regular thing?
That was at that dinner we were at.
Yeah.
And the wife said that.
And I was like,
I don't know what it's like.
I've never, ever used a sex toy, ever.
Let
alone, I don't have multiple, let alone
travel with them,
let alone leaving them out in the hotel for everyone to see.
So, yeah, that was a conversation stopper real fast at the dinner table.
Yeah, it was really awkward.
I didn't know what to do.
She literally thought...
Everyone must have that.
Everyone has had that. Like, isn't it funny when you pour a decaf instead of a caffeine? I don't know. It was
Jenna,
like...
we don't even realize it, but like when we were kids and we looked at like really conservative old people, you know, like that, that's like, they would be like, oh, that girl dressing up, showing her cleavage.
Oh, yeah, that's how we are now.
We are that.
Yeah.
Because this could be everywhere, and we're like, we don't know.
I don't know.
And I'm not opening it up for...
But the same as you were doing things at 8 with girls that I did not do ever.
I got it all out, literally, by 21 when I met you.
You didn't have anything to come out at 8 years old.
Anyway.
Yeah,
right. That reminds me of a horrible story that happened to me when I was 14. Am I allowed to tell it? It happened to me. It's pretty gross, and I'll keep it simple.
I don't know if your sons are your sons. It's your sons if it's bad. It's our sons if it's good.
Well, if our sons have gotten through this point of the fucking episode, then I've done something wrong by letting them watch it. I mean, they're allowed to watch this at 21 or over, but why they would, I have no idea. Yeah. I mean,
I think they would
have no interest. They'd have this would be.
They don't even want to watch like me and Looney Tunes Back in Action or Dharma and Greg or anything. They want nothing of it. Why? You're sitting right here with me. Why would I watch
we kiss and hug, like if I give you just a normal kiss and hug, they both like dry gag, like they
get grossed out.
Yeah,
but if we hold hands, they like it.
They do.
Yeah, they like gentle.
They like knowing that we have a good, long, stable marriage. They just don't want to know that it results in anything other than family outings. Lots of laughter.
I remember a story when I gave him the birds and bees talk several years ago. We were in the car driving and we were at a red light and he goes, out of nowhere, he just goes, "Oh, I still can't get the idea that you guys have had sex out of my head. You've only done it twice, right? Once for me and one for Easton." And I was like,
yes. Mama tried to make it so it was just twice, but Daddy talked her into it a couple of other times. Yeah, he had thought that those were the two.
Yeah, and he just couldn't shake it.
That's such a disgusting thing. Was only by necessity to make the two kids, and we did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Very funny. Anyway, tell your story about. Was 14?
I was 14.
Is this something that Story's going to go through?
God,
or is this something particular to the lifestyle in which an environment you were raised in?
I think he'll go through this to a degree, but he won't have the experience that I had with a very acerbic, confrontational, for my mom? My mom is like a very liberal.
She's like a liberal Archie Bunker.
Yes. In a way, that's the greatest description of her. But she's also quite crass and not what you would think a normal mom would be in terms of what she would discuss.
Okay.
She's on... You sometimes see, oddly, my mom is very urban and very liberal, but oddly, she's like sometimes what you see in trailer parks, where the old lady in the trailer park has the dirtiest mouth.
Right.
Okay. So I was laying in my room listening to records. My mom walks in with the laundry.
And you're 14 years old.
I'm laying on the bed, and she says, "The housekeeper found your jerk-off rag. I put it away in your closet." And left the room. And I'm laying there, and I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, wait, what? But she's already gone. And so, in my closet with my clothes is the proverbial,
but maybe still a little crusty. So that means that the housekeeper told your mom because your mom. It wasn't that the housekeeper just washed it. The housekeeper pointed it out to your mom.
See, do you know how amazing you are? Is that I was so mortified. I never even went that deep
That they had a conversation.
That I had to realize that there had to be a fucking conversation about it. Because I just went, the housekeeper found that and then washed it and gave it to my mom. And then I went into like deep nine
like
space.
where your hands go numb?
Yeah, where you don't, the world seems
and your
foggy.
brain like is tingling a little bit.
Yeah, and then at 14, it just, the circuits overload and you're like, I want to go get a hamburger at McDonald's. Like it just ends because you can't go there.
Yeah.
I actually see it with my kids because as an adult, you have a willingness to go to the darker places.
Yeah, you don't care. You gave birth to them. It's like it's like nothing.
At 14, I short circuited.
Right.
I was like, oh God, I gotta go. But now that you articulated that there was a conversation that if I could go back in time with a time machine to see how that played out, because the housekeeper was a
like, did they pee their pants laughing
she
at
was
your
a,
expense?
She was a kind of a very hippie lesbian as well.
So I'm sure they had a heyday.
Because if it was a more true, yes,
I bet they talked about how many jerk off sessions worth of cum is in the sock.
Jenna, I didn't need that. You could have been. There was so many other ways around that particular point right there. I mean, the answer was a lot, but I would have used different words. We've just reverted back to a podcast that no one but people over 50 can see. Even anyone around 35 shouldn't be a part of this podcast. It's too much. So yeah, somehow that happened, and my mom thought it was funny that she could make her little comment and be out and leave, and I was left there. And
I really understand as a mother how satisfying that comment would be.
Yeah, I guess she got off. Shit.
No.
She acerbically enjoyed the pleasure of seeing me squirm out of my body, and then she just left me there with that. Yeah. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad I was never a teenage boy. Because that just sounds awful to me. Like, if my mom were to make a comment to me about... And my mom was the opposite. My mom handed me a book about animals reproducing and said, take a look at that for your sex ed. And then closed the door and walked away. And that was the end-all, be-all of my sex ed from my mom. And everything else I learned by sheer experience.
Oh, my God. My mom...
I literally didn't understand.
Yeah.
I was never taught anything except for, like, in school they do a sex ed, but you feel like your ears are bleeding.
Right.
The boy you have a crush on is sitting next to you,
right.
And you're just like, don't even want to... You cannot.
Yeah, you cannot.
It's the worst to be sitting amongst your peers getting sex ed at school.
Right.
It's horrible. Horrible, and they didn't separate the girls from the boys in my sex ed.
Yeah, it kind of sucks for
embarrassing.
It sucks for both sides.
Yeah,
because you can't really learn anything that way.
No, you're literally feel like your ears are bleeding and your eyes are.
Yeah, you're bonking into the back of your body.
Yeah, it's horrible. So yeah, I knew nothing.
I knew too much.
Right.
Because of the crowd, in Hollywood, California, in the early 70s,
everything was happening everywhere.
The hippie, alternative LGBTQ plus crowd in Hollywood at that time, it was a rejection of all rules.
Because they had been it was all the 1950s and mid 60s.
That's right.
Suppression.
That's right. So I grew up having seen everything, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. I want to just fall in love and settle down. And so that happened very early. And then I ran into Wild Child Jenna, and that was that. And I was like, whoa there, Nelly. And you were like,
no, you've been trying to corral me ever since.
Oh, I gave up.
I know you did.
I gave up.
But you tried real hard.
Yeah, it was a losing battle. I tried real hard. It was a losing battle.
Can't corral this.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to corral it. I want to let it run free. Run free. I'm not going to try to tame this broncat. So I guess the moral of the story here, everyone...
Put your dildos away.
Put the dildos away. Really? Like just...
That's what bedside tables are for. They have a drawer. You put it in there. You close the door, and then you let the realtor in.